you drift off, completely fine. So to bring us together with an Om, you've thanked yourself for arriving for formal practice. You've set an intention. You chanted the Om, now you feel into that resonance. Beautiful. The sense of meditation, at its very basic form, is the idea of shifting from thinking into feeling and then into simply being, allowing the mind to calm and the body to relax. And particularly in those challenging times or unusual times we find ourselves in, it's useful to learn and to practice the skill of meditation so we're able to navigate those challenging times in a calm way. To come back, as some say, to our true nature, to our inner self, to our sense of peace and harmony. Now I'd like you to start noticing your breath, the rhythm of your breath. If you wanted to release your hands out of your Anjali Mudra, of your prayer hands, you're welcome to. And perhaps keeping the eyes closed. So just notice how that feels for you to have that focus on your breath. Where we eventually simply observe the rhythm of the breath. We could focus on other things of our breath, but let's feel into the rhythm. So we observe as opposed to direct, control or alter the breath. What's the natural rhythm for you and your breath this morning? Being quite open about the fact that it's natural and it's completely allowed for your focus to drift elsewhere. So in the nature of observing, we just notice that then, and then we use our discernment and go, okay, I've drifted off a little. Is this something where I'm drifting into? Something that needs my energy and my attention right now? Or shall I come back to the task at hand and noticing the rhythm of the breath? And so there's never any judgment, justification, denial, or putting under the carpet. Beautiful. And notice the mind wants to be engaged and busy, and the mind relies on our senses. So only focusing on the rhythm of the breath is for the mind naturally a bit under challenging. So if that's exactly how you feel, that's completely okay and normal. And then I'd like you to, when you notice the rhythm of your breath, just noticing without making it into a breath retention, just notice after your inhalation there is a gentle gap before you fold into your exhalation. And then after your exhalation, there's another little gap or a transition before you inhale again. And see if we can just settle on that rhythm, on that fact. Maybe you still have your eyes closed. I'm just going to now release my hands. And just notice that And perhaps that's not the only thing that comes up for you. Maybe there is colors happening, maybe there are thoughts coming in and go. Just validate that and come back to that single pointed focus of noticing that rhythm and that pattern of your breath. Inhale gap, exhale gap. And so meditation is an experience. How does this, what's your experience just right now? And then simply having the ability, and I'll probably even call it the strength, to let it be as it is. Just honor the experience that you're having. This is already beneficial, already coming into that single pointed focus. We could do this with other senses. That's already beneficial. So even if you can't quite sit still or the mind goes somewhere else, as I said in the beginning, it's the practice that makes this valuable. Not so much which technique or which philosophy we follow. It's an exploring as to what suits you, and then it's simply a practice. Beautiful. And then I'd like us to go a little further. And some of you have been practicing with me before. You know that idea. I'd like you to feel into the inhale, and then in that little gap before you exhale, see if you can say your name. You can whisper it, or you can just say it in your mind's voice. So inhale your name, exhale, noticing the gap. And if it's completely new, it's sometimes almost beneficial, because when we have practiced it before, we could slip into that sense of anticipation and expectation. So seeing if we can be free of that. How does that feel? What is the experience right now for you as you do that? Beautiful. And then I'd like us to do something with that second gap. So after your exhalation, before you inhale, that little transitional gap, without having to make this holding of the breath, perhaps feeling into a quality that you feel would support you throughout the day, or throughout this rest of the week, throughout the month. Perhaps it has to do with the intention you were setting for your practice. I don't want to put anything into your mind. Perhaps with the times we find ourselves in, perhaps you feel your sense of freedom a little restricted. So you could put that energy of freedom into that second gap. Anything that resonates with you. Just a few more runs. Just noticing how you're settling into that relative stillness. How with that single pointed focus, when you give yourself the allowance that nothing else needs to happen, you just allowed your own unique experience with this. Notice how that becomes really liberating and effortless. And that's the practice. Doesn't need to be complicated. Experience yourself daily, perhaps in a sense of stillness. It's a beautiful spiritual practice. It's a beautiful life skill to honor and to practice. Beautiful. And just letting go of that idea. Letting go of your name, letting go of that intention. But notice how it still resonates. Just sitting in that experience. You could say this was your mantra for today. You know, your name is sacred to you. It carries an energy. And your positive affirmation or your energetic word, your intention, carries an energy for you as well, and meaning. So perhaps, this is something you could do in the beginning of the day. You don't have to sit. You can do this before you swing out of bed. Sharpens the mind. It brings in focus. Beautiful. And I'd like us to continue with a mantra meditation. Check in with your physical body though. If you need to shift shape, I'll stay seated here. If you want to change the cross of the legs, or if you want to lie down, this will be different. Last week we had the whole half hour of a guided meditation. This week we'll explore different ideas. So in other words, what I'm saying is make sure you're comfortable. Beautiful. And just notice how you settled easily into stillness. Stillness is not rigidity. Beautiful. And then we've been exploring the idea of the mantra of soul hum. I am, or I am that. And that idea feels into the idea that with meditation practice and yoga practice too, in pranayama, we want to turn the mind inwards and becoming the observer of so hum. So this can be done with the breath as well. So on the inhalation, allow yourself to feel or to say or to, either whisper or out loud or quietly the syllable so, the mantra so. And then with your exhalation, hum. And just letting that resonate. And you don't have to continuously. So that's perhaps a step further than what we've done just then with our name. The idea is that you just let that resonate and just observe how that feels. And when you notice you're drifting into, or you're coming up to the surface again, or you're drifting into thought, then using the mantra again. So I am. You just are. I am that. Of course, it could simply be used as an inquiry. What are you now? Noticing the tendencies, the workings of your mind. Using the mantra simply to melt with the experience, the mantra, you sitting there experiencing it all becomes one. However, if it helps you to attach it a little initially to the breath, and that's absolutely fine. It's that simple recognition that I am. I am that. Nothing needs adding, nothing needs taking away, no technique needs doing. Using the mantra to be the experience. And approaching the whole idea always of yoga and meditation with a sense of curiosity. To notice what is that I am. Be open to what comes up. Thoughts, feelings, emotions. Let's be with that. I am so hum. I'll let you be for a few minutes in that silence. In your complete so hum experience without my words. So hum. So hum. I am that. Beautiful. Honoring the experience that you're having right now. And just know that a sense of rejuvenation happens as the mind comes into that single point of focus. Calming, cleansing effect for mind and body. very, very slowly. Simply sitting in the experience, letting go of that mantra, perhaps just noticing it drifting away. Mm. And just slowly focusing back on senses and your sense of touch, just noticing your physical body against the surface you're sitting on, against the ground, the earth. Maybe there's your mat, maybe it's carpet, blankets. And you never have to be completely still. I know I'm sort of swaying forwards and backwards. And just feeling into your sit bones. And regardless of what position you have taken for this meditation, see if you can feel into your spine. Just get a sense of your whole back. And we're just bringing the energy up and down the spine with our breath, with our intention, with our visualization. So noticing the exhalation moving downwards into the tailbone, and the inhalation reaches up through to the crown of the head, and the exhalation moves downwards again. It's like in a wave-like fashion. It doesn't have to be sound, it doesn't have to be ujjayi breath. And sitting with the experience, if there is, again, patterns happening as you do that, colors, feelings, sensations, emotions, thoughts, be open to it all. Let's see, so still in that up and down motion, the prana, the energy lifting up on your inhalation, and allow it to settle. That whole wave-like idea. Allowing the effort to be as valid as the ease, the yin to be as valid as the yang. Being in stillness is as valid as being active. Drawing inwards is as important as being outwardly focused. Being in the external world is as important as being in the internal world as well. And as we discussed in the beginning of practice, being really focused on any health and well-being practices that support us is as valid as sometimes just falling off the bandwagon, as they say. Beautiful. And, focusing on an outcome or having a goal, having an intention, looking for a particular experience, feeling, emotion, is as valid as just allowing an experience, an emotion, an outcome to happen. And let you sit with that. Let's just slowly keep the eyes closed. Make sure you're still comfortable. And we chant an Om, and then we sit with that resonance of the Om for another minute or two. Yeah, and I'd just like to add to that yin and yang, and that idea of bringing all our dualities together. Having a fully guided meditation is as valid as having a meditation where there is a lot more stillness, quietness, and exploration. So with the hands in prayer, perhaps bringing your intention again to the Om, perhaps bringing that positive quality that you were experiencing when we did the name and the positive intention breath. So it can resonate throughout your whole body, even filling the space around you, your energetic body, and your surroundings. Let's do this together. Let's exhale. Big inhale. Beautiful. You can very gently bow the head forward and just stay for a moment with the resonance of the Om. Honoring the experience for what it is. Beautiful. And just slowly keep your eyes closed, perhaps keep your hands in prayer hands, and I'd just like us to bring the thumbs gently touching the forehead. Our mudra, our intention for good thoughts towards ourselves and others. And then the thumbs just lightly touching the lips, our intention for good words towards ourselves and others. And then coming back to heart center. Good deeds or good actions towards ourselves and others. Let's bow all the way forward. Namaste. Namaste, and thank you all for joining me this morning. I know we're in a different state now. We're vibrating on a different level. This is a very unique, very personal experience. You may not want to stay for talking. I totally respect that. I just wanted to let you know that it's been a pleasure having you this morning. Hope it was useful. Join me again next Thursday, same time. But you all know all our yoga practices incorporate some form of pranayama and meditation as well. If you want to give me some feedback behind the scenes because you have to keep going, I appreciate that as well. I will hobble over and finish the recording. Thank you, Rebecca, and unmute you. Oh, I think my toes have gone numb. Coming over here. Beautiful. Ta-da.